there are a few things, and we used to use this a lot in Procter & Gamble in terms of what is the right way of reacting to consumers. I think the first one is embrace the comment, whether you like it or not. One of the taboos point is never delete it, never block the consumer. Blocking a consumer because he said something, you're just making this consumer a hater. So embrace it. If you have an answer to correct the consumer, answer that consumer privately so you don't add fire to the fuel. But if you don't have an answer, the least you can do is just don't answer, but don't block or stop the consumers. And I think it's a tricky one. And most of the corporate communication experts across all companies will help guide people on how to best deal with that, specifically marketeers who sometimes are super passionate and wants to jump the gun. I think there are many different ways of listening to the consumers, and I will say consumers, not customers, because I believe brands should be listening to both their current customers and the ones they wish to become their customers. I think from a quantitative standpoint, brand health trackers are an amazing tool to be able to have really objective-based data. I think the second piece is social media, and you see a lot on social media, and there are so many tools that can get you a lot of insights on how your consumers are speaking about you. But I think these two are pretty much, if you combine these two together, it's a good way of really understanding how your brand stack with consumers. Not in research. I think it's a good way to keep a sense of what consumers are saying, but we need to understand how people really consume social media. And so on social media, only 10 to 20% of the social media users are actually in the mood of creating content or actually posting. There are more than 70 to 80% of the population on social media silent and just consuming data. So we cannot see the social media sentiment as the only way to research consumer understanding or brand health, because we know that it's not a representative sample of all the consumers that we want to target. But it's a good sense to understand the very passionate one, what is it that they're saying, because they impact others as well. The 70 others that are actually consuming this information are watching what they're saying. So that's a very interesting one. The reason behind that is there is a lot of marketeers who become very passionate, either about an idea or about a brand. I think the very important thing to be able not to influence the real insights is to keep the data independent and the insights independent. Then the analysis separate to it and the recommendations to move forward is separate. Or else we fall in the trap of being a bias of really trying to find what we want in the data versus really looking at the data and the insight as they are. I think really content creation per social media channel is becoming the big thing. And it's a matter of how marketeers are going to do that to really have top-notch content that engages with the consumers and speak in the same language and way that they consume the platform. So I think the one thing that is in the past now is this whole idea of an ad being published on social media and expecting results. It's a matter of each platform between Snapchat, TikTok, Meta. How are consumers consuming really content there, and the content of the brand needs to be there, and I think there are a lot of tools to help the brands do that.